Massive shakeups are rocking Ibrox as Rangers prepare for a ruthless January clear-out. Danny Rohl's had enough, and one of Kevin Thelwell's biggest flops could be sent packing mid-season. A multi-million replacement is already being lined up, and trust me, you'll want to know who. Meanwhile, Barry Ferguson, yes, that Barry, is being thrown into the mix for a shock return in a powerful new role, and the transfer market's heating up again. West Ham's Andy Irving is back on the radar, and this time Rangers might just pull the trigger. Go on, give the video a like, and I'll be back tomorrow with all the fallout from today's match between Rangers and Falkirk. Let's get into it. Rangers have been linked once again with the potential move for Scotland international Andy Irving, who looks set to finally depart West Ham United this January after a forgettable spell at the London club. Now, let's be honest, Irving's time in England hasn't exactly lit any fires. After leaving Austria Klagenfurt in 2023, he's barely laid a glove on the first team, and now, as we head into the winter window, West Ham appear ready to cut ties with him, placing him firmly on the radar for a move back north. It's no secret Rangers were in the mix for him in the summer, even if things never materialized. Back then, the midfielder chose to stay put, seemingly thinking he could force his way into Graham Potter's plans. That gamble hasn't paid off. West Ham are now ready to let him go, and he's reportedly one of the few players who could leave for a modest transfer fee. Let's put it this way, if he's good enough for Graham Potter to keep him around last summer, but not good enough to actually play, then surely now is the perfect moment for Rangers to swoop in and offer him the platform he clearly misses. A return to Scotland, to Ibrox, where the standards are relentless and the expectation is sky high, might be exactly what he needs to get his career moving again. Forget the noise about Wrexham and their Hollywood daftness. If Irving's serious about his football, then there's only one proper football institution where he can thrive, and it's not playing in front of TikTok fans down in the English lower leagues. Should Rangers even be looking at players who couldn't break into a mid-table English side, or does Irving have the hunger and pedigree to wear the shirt and thrive under the lights at Ibrox? Jaden Meghoma's time at Ibrox has been nothing short of a head-scratcher. Brought in under Kevin Thelwell's chaotic spell, alongside a string of forgettable decisions, the young fullback was meant to fill the void left by Jefte's departure to Palmeiras. But from the first whistle, Meghoma's looked more like a project than a player ready for the Rangers jersey. 9 starts in the Premiership, no goals, just 1 assist, and not a single performance that's properly convinced he belongs in that starting 11. The stats don't lie. He's making 6.44 entries into the final third per game, recovering 3.44 balls, winning 4 duels. Decent numbers on paper, but it's not translating into consistent results. Let's not ignore it either. Every single European match he started, Rangers have lost 4 out of 4. And the only match where points were actually secured in Europe, he was on the bench. Now, with Danny Rohl reportedly eyeing up Berkay Yilmaz from Freiburg, who's already making waves in the Bundesliga, it looks like the writing could be on the wall for Meghoma. Rohl didn't bring him in, and with his own vision for this squad coming into focus, the temptation to move on from Thelwell's misfires is growing by the week. But here's the dilemma. You're light in that left-back position. Max Aarons can do a job there, but it's not his natural side. Sterling and Cornelius, both injured, so unless Rangers fork out the £4.3 million Freiburg want for Yilmaz, Meghoma might just survive January by default, not merit. There's talk that terminating Meghoma's loan early could cost Rangers a fee, but is it really worth keeping a player just to avoid a financial penalty when the performances are already costing you on the pitch? Should Rangers take the financial hit, send Meghoma back to Brentford and bring in a proper left-back, or are you willing to keep him around just to plug a hole and risk more dropped points in a title race that's already on a knife edge? Andrew Cavanagh's been talking up Rangers' summer signings, insisting they'll come good, but not everyone's buying it. Gary Keown's come out swinging, calling it total mince, and claiming this squad's miles off what's needed to bring glory back to Ibrox. Now listen, Rangers brought in 14 players over the summer. That's not a rebuild, that's a full-blown overhaul. And when you make that many changes, you're not just managing individuals, you're trying to build chemistry, identity, and belief. Danny Rohl's come in and done a decent job so far, unbeaten in 4, and closing the gap on the top spots. That's no small feat considering the mess he inherited. But let's be honest, you paid £8 million for Youssef Chermiti, and the boys barely got his boots dirty. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 start. That's not what you expect from a striker with that kind of fee over his head. And it's no surprise folk are raising eyebrows when the chairman's trying to put a positive spin on it. Still, football's not black and white. Well, not unless you're looking at the badge on the chest. Many of these lads arrived under one manager and are now trying to impress another with different tactics, demands, and a different tempo altogether. You can't expect instant magic just because you've slapped on the Rangers kit. Cavenagh might be playing the long game, hoping for progress over the season. Keown, he's already calling for the clear-out van. But here's the real bit to chew on. Have these players truly failed, or have they simply not been given the conditions to thrive? Are you ready to give these new signings time to prove themselves? Or should Rangers admit they've wasted millions and start again in January? Now, this one's got folk talking all across Ibrox and beyond. Barry Ferguson, a Rangers legend through and through, is being mentioned as a surprise contender for the vacant sporting director role. Let's be crystal clear, Barry knows his club inside out. He's worn the armband, lifted silverware, stood tall in the middle of the park during some of Rangers' biggest battles, and even stepped in last season to steady the ship during a chaotic period. You don't get much more Rangers than Barry Ferguson. But stepping into a sporting director role, that's a different animal altogether. This isn't about crunching tackles or firing up the dressing room. It's about recruitment, strategy, structure, it's long-term vision, scouting networks, wage structures, transfer negotiations, and truthfully, Barry's never done that job before. He's got the passion, no doubt, but does he have the playbook? The club are already said to be scouring Europe for someone with proven pedigree in the role, someone who can build the right infrastructure around Danny Rohl and make sure we're not wasting another £8 million on the next Youssef Chermiti. The last thing Rangers need now is sentiment guiding decisions. It's about football brains, modern structure, and results. But then again, with the right team around him, could Barry become a proper footballing figurehead at Ibrox? Someone to unite the dressing room, set the tone, and fight the club's corner in the boardroom. And while that discussion rumbles on, Nadim Bajrami's quietly forcing his way back into Rohl's plans, proof that sometimes second chances can pay off. When the right manager's in charge, should Rangers take the risk and trust a club icon like Barry Ferguson to lead the rebuild from upstairs? Or is that just another emotional decision in a time that demands cold, calculated leadership? Like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe for daily Rangers news. Don't miss a thing.